Star Wars collectors, and welcome to another Bossk's Bounty video, and welcome to episode 47 of Ask Bossk's Bounty. You know the drill by now. This is the weekly series where you guys get to ask me questions in the comment section below, and I do my very best to answer them each week. We do have a bumper episode this week. Loads of things are happening in this week's episode. We've got a giveaway because I just reached 10,000 subscribers, which is awesome. So thank you very much for that. So be sure to stay tuned later for details of that giveaway. I've also got a piece of fan mail from a guy called Colin Hobbs to open up later. He made a custom figure for me, but the box that's arrived is a little bit bigger than what would hold a custom figure. So I think there might be something else in there as well. So I'm intrigued to know what that is. So stick around for that as well. But of course, as per usual, we do have loads of questions to get through. So if you do happen to like this video, please drop a like down below. It really does help the video and the channel. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that so you don't miss any future videos. I do just want to talk a little bit before we get into the questions about the Haslab reveal being the Razor Crest. I'm over the moon about it. I've ordered one. I can't wait for them to do it. It's already been back to 6,000. We're going to get the first stretch goal out of 8,000, it seems. I think that's achievable, and hopefully we can unlock the 10,000 one as well. That would be absolutely awesome. I do hope that the 10,000 stretch goal is a little bit more enticing than the 8,000 one, because yeah, the escape pod is a good little idea, but I kind of think that that should have come with the ship itself. But maybe at 10,000 we can get an exclusive figure or something. That's what we really want in one of these Haslab projects, in my opinion. But yeah, I am really glad that it's the Razor Crest, and it's going to be what seems like a long wait, because it's going to be this time next year probably that we're all going to get it. So a long wait, but I think it'll be worth the wait when it finally drops. All right, then let's get on to the first question. And the first question is from Bill Polk, and he says, can we see the guitar stand for the Millennium Falcon? Yes, you can. So for anyone that doesn't know, I've got a guitar stand for my vintage collection Millennium Falcon. I do not have a tabletop that's big enough to display it in the room that I currently have, so I bought a guitar stand. Somebody on Instagram called Zenista Studios told me about this, so I went ahead and bought one, and I'll show you right now. Alright, so here is my Falcon, as you can see there, and if we look down here, sorry about the mess on the floor, there is the guitar stand. So it sits very nicely in the guitar stand, and at the back of the Falcon it's got a nice little soft pad that it rests against, so it's never going to get damaged. These little feet here have got little soft pads on them as well. So it really just sits there nicely. It leans very nicely, and at the moment it's in the front of my cabinet, but it will be positioned in a better position within the collecting room. But I thought that it was a really good idea personally, of a good way of displaying your Legacy Falcon. Obviously you have to take the bottom feet off and the bottom gun, but they fit in all the little compartments inside. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that. I think it's a pretty good way to display the Falcon. Eric Molotores says, love the channel. Thank you very much, Eric. Question, do you think you'll stop collecting in the next few years because of lack of space? No, I won't do that. I think my collection room is getting rather full now. I am running out of space. That is true. But I think you move things around, display the things you want to display, and then unfortunately some of it does have to be stored away until that day where I get myself a larger collection room, which I think will happen eventually. Things happen in life, don't they? Like children moving out of home, you know, I can maybe have one of their bedrooms in the end as my collection room. You never know. But yeah, you have to store things away, unfortunately, and just display the things that you're really into at the time. Joseph Barajas says, what's up, Bossk? Love the channel. Thank you very much, Joseph. My question is, do you think you'll be alive when they release VC 1000? Thanks. Probably I won't be, no, and I don't believe they'll ever get to VC 1000. Nice thought though, mate, nice thought. Sean Mack says, thank you for the great channel, Bossk. I've really enjoyed your videos. Thank you very much, Sean. I do appreciate that, my friend, and also thank you very much for being a Patreon supporter. That really does help me out, that support. Thank you very much. Question, do you think we'll get an Endor Luke and Leia, or even a Leia Ewok dress in the vintage collection soon, or not until the 40th anniversary for Return of the Jedi? Keep up the great work. That's a great question actually, Sean, because this is something that's actually close to my heart. I love this figure here, or at least this card back. I have the original vintage version of this as well. Fantastic. I used to love the Return of the Jedi Leia in her combat poncho here. And this figure was from 2006, 2007 from the vintage Saga line. And man, it needs an update. I would love for them to re-release this figure. This would be fantastic in the vintage collection. But I do believe you are right. I think it would be probably in the year of the 40th anniversary if we were going to if we were going to get that, you know. As for the Leia Ewok dress, I know the one you mean from when she's in the Ewok village. I think the last one we got from that was in the Power of the Force line, and yeah, that's a figure that I think badly needs doing, and I'd love to see that in the vintage collection. I'd love to see the card back that they would come up for that figure. That'd be awesome. Colonel SciFi Bounty Hunter says, "Hey boss, great video. Question, out of the vintage Kenner line, which skiff guard do you believe to be the best?" It's hard to pick the best one, but this is probably my favourite one. This is Nikto. I think it's a decent looking figure, decent sculpt, nice paintwork and everything. You know, very good for the time. But obviously there is some other good. I mean, Weequay is a good figure as well. But yeah, he's probably my favourite. Lao Chi says, question for next week. Have you any interest in the SH Figure Arts Star Wars line? Thanks and great videos. I don't, unfortunately. It's the scale issue for me. I'm a 3.75 inch collector and I do dabble in the Black Series every now and then. So if I do go for that larger scale, it tends to be the Black Series. I think the Figure Arts figures they're reasonably expensive. It's just not something that I'm really into. Although perhaps I would like to just maybe sample one figure and just to check it out, maybe do a review on it or something. But I don't own any of them, unfortunately. Rennies Review says, question for next week. What are the best vintage collection figures, vehicles to get that are easily available? I can't decide what I want to get for my birthday. So I would probably say from a vehicle point of view, I think you could probably get yourself one of these. I think this is one of the best vintage collection vehicles that they've brought out, especially since the vintage collections come back as well. Highly detailed, really, really nice. You might have a bit of trouble getting the Tank Commander now. He seems to be quite expensive. Although if you're in the US, I do believe he may be turning up in some of the Ollie's discount stores. Not 100% sure about that, but he might do. But this vehicle is a great vehicle and you can often see it for very cheap because it was on clearance for a very long time. Other than that, you might want to look at the TIE Fighter. That's again another one that was on clearance. But in terms of figures, I think you just want to look at ones that are coming out now, that are on retail now. So I'd imagine your Commander Wolf and the Power Droid and figures like that, the new ones coming out. Luke Skywalker Jedi, Chirrut Imwe, those figures are going to be coming out and they should be easily available. So yeah, grab those if you can. Rod C says, hey Bossk Bounty, I have a question for next week. Do you think we'll be getting a better looking Cody and another Dengar in the vintage collection? The ones that we have are way more expensive than regular releases of this year and they don't have great looking faces. Yep, those two are two of the most expensive figures from the previous vintage collection. Here's Dengar here. Does he really need updating? Is his face that bad? I think this is a pretty good figure. I think this is one of the best figures personally. I really do love this figure. It is one of my favourites. Decent looking bounty hunter. If they did bring him out, yep, they probably would give him the photo real tech on his face. But in terms of like a new face completely, they would not do that. As for Cody, that is definitely one that if they were going to do some re-releases, that is the sort of figure they should be re-releasing. They shouldn't be doing people like Queen Amidala and that, which is the most recently announced wave, which is going to be coming out spring next year. I think those were some very, very strange choices in my opinion. I would have gone for some more highly sought after figures, army building figures, things like that. Alright, so it's time to talk about the giveaway. So essentially I hit 10,000 subscribers the other day, which is absolutely awesome. So thank you so much for the support. Been doing YouTube about 2.5 years now, so to hit 10,000, it's something that I'm really, really proud of. And without you guys watching my videos, dropping likes, commenting on my videos, we just wouldn't have got there. So we've done it together, so I really do appreciate it. So my way of giving something back, Big Bad Toy Store in the US have teamed up with me for a giveaway. We're going to be giving away a Stormtrooper, a Rogue One Stormtrooper 6-inch figure. And the reason I chose that is because any of you guys that may have that figure already, it's a decent figure for your army building. And of course, if you don't own that figure, it's also a pretty decent figure to own. You know, everyone loves a Stormtrooper. So the Black Series 6-inch Rogue One Stormtrooper will be the prize. And if you're unaware of the Big Bad Toy Store, they're an online retailer in the US. They specialise in action figures, obviously. And what puts them apart from other retailers is they allow you to select a collector's grade. I think it's an extra $2, but then somebody there will specifically pick out the best boxed or carded item from a shipper box and make sure it's shipped to you in perfect condition. So if you're into grading figures or if you're just into minty fresh, then the Big Bad Toy Store is the way to go with their sort of graded, collector graded items, as it were. So All you have to do to enter the giveaway, this is all you've got to do, is you've got to be subscribed to this channel, of course. Then you need to leave a comment down below. Of course, still leave your questions for next week's episode. I'm hoping that this comment section won't just be people wanting to enter the giveaway. So please make sure you leave your questions for next week as well. But leave a comment in the comment section below. I don't know, just say congratulations on 10,000 or something like that if you want to enter the competition. Subscribe to the channel, and that is it. And in a couple of weeks, I'll be using a random comment generator piece of software on the internet to pick the winner, and I'll announce that on maybe another Ask Boss Bounty video in a couple of weeks. But you guys will get to know when I'll be announcing the winner. So that's the giveaway news. The Darth Eddie says, hey boss, given how expensive some of the 2009-2010 Legacy Collection figures are, such as Jiran, Herchek Kalfas and Malakili, would you support re-releasing those characters and a handful of others that command insane scalper prices on the Vintage Collection cards? 100% yes. If Hasbro are going to be reissuing figures or repacking figures, which, let's face it, they are doing, there's no way of getting away from that. Instead of reissuing figures such as Anakin and Queen Amidala like they're going to be doing, I would much prefer them to dip into the Legacy Collection and give us ones like this. You know, Jiran is one of the best figures going. I opened him up the other day in a video with my son, and fantastic figure. Same as the Malakili, the Rancor Keeper. That figure is primed just to be in the Vintage Collection. The card back is there from the original 96 from back in the vintage days. The figure's there. It doesn't need anything doing to it. In my opinion, it's good enough. So I'm all for it. Darth Collector says, awesome video question. What do you do in your personal life and free time aside from collecting figures? And what do you do professionally? So in my spare time, I spend my time with my family. I play the PlayStation with my son. He loves the Spider-Man game on the PS4. We play that quite a lot. He absolutely loves that. So that's good. I take him to football practice. You know, all the usual family stuff that we do. I like seeing my mates, going down the pub, catching up, going for meals, that kind of stuff. Professionally, I work on websites, so I'm into like search engine optimization and, you know, ranking websites on Google and things like that, and that's what I do for a job. All right, so just a quick break from the questions again, and we're going to open this. This is from a fan of the channel called Colin Hobbs. I believe he does really good work with customizations, and he sent me a photo once of a Bossk that he had done a customization of, and he has built me one and he sent it to me. But as you can see, this box is a lot bigger than what would hold a custom figure. So we're going to open it up and see what else is inside. All right, so first off, we have a note here, and I'll just read it out. It says, Dear Tim, here is the custom Bossk as promised. I've also included the die-cast Bossk figure that I no longer have room for. I hope it's something you don't currently have. I didn't hear you mention it in your previous video. Your friend Colin Hobbs. P.S. Keep up the fantastic videos. Thank you very much, Colin. I really do appreciate it, mate. Thank you so much. Die-cast Bossk. I do not have a die-cast Bossk, so let's see what that's all about. First of all, there's like a card in here with like a flip image of Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, which is pretty cool. I can't see, don't know if you can see that changing in the light. There's a little extra thing in there, so thank you. First off, we're going to take a look at the custom Bossk, because I really do want to show you Colin's handiwork. I've seen a picture of this. It looks fantastic. So let's take a look at this right now. This is brilliant. Right. Look at that. That is brilliant. So I believe he's used the body from one of the Force Awakens aliens, the one of the pilots. I can't remember their species name. I do apologise. But he's obviously used some other parts from the Bossk, which I should have had in my video, but I haven't for some reason this week. So he's used some parts from this Bossk, it looks like. And he does have a removable helmet. This is fantastic. Colin, mate, I'm going to treasure this. I really will. This is going to go straight in my cabinet with my other Bosks. But that is fantastic. I love the green. It really goes well. And this helmet here, I think he's even custom painted that as well. Put a sticker on there or something. I don't know how these guys do these customizations. It's something that I haven't got a clue about. I have zero artistic talent when it comes to painting and building things and things like that. But this looks fantastic. So Thank you so much, Colin. I really do appreciate that, mate. And yeah, let's take a look at the die-cast thing as well. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, the titanium series die-cast, display case included. I do not own this, so thank you so much. That's going to be awesome in my Bossk collection. I can't wait to get that in there. That's brilliant. But there's really no need for that. But I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. There it is on the back, look. That's what it looks like. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Colin. I do appreciate that, my friend. Thank you so much. Rob S722 says, great video. Love the content as always. Thank you very much, Rob. My question is, how many Han Solo figures do you have? And which is your favourite? Mine is Bespin Han. Keep up the great work. I have too many to count. It'd be a struggle for me to count how many I've got of Han Solo. This is my favourite one, probably the same as you. I don't know whether you mean, when you say Bespin Han, that you mean one of the modern ones, but this was always my favourite Han Solo figure. And for the time of 1980 when this came out, it's fantastic. Really good sculpt on the figure, and this one is a proper minty fresh example of a vintage figure. It's got no paint rubs on it whatsoever. Really, really happy to have that one in my collection. So yeah, I would go vintage Bespin Han is my favourite. I Don't Like Sand says, what do you think about the new Lego Star Wars Mos Eisley Cantina playset? I absolutely love it. I think it looks fantastic. I don't have space for any Lego at the moment. I have sold a lot of my Lego collection, but if there's one set out of any that I would love to buy this year, it would have to be that. I think it looks fantastic. They've done a great job with it. This is a question that I got on Twitter from Senior Editor. He says, hey, I dig your videos. Do you take Q&As, Ask Boss Bounty on here? Yes, I do. If so, I'd like to ask, what are some good and, if possible, affordable vehicles to buy for the 3.75 inch scale? Mostly interested in the OT. So if you're only interested in the OT, then you're going to be looking at the TIE Fighter that most recently came out. That went on clearance. I mentioned that one earlier when I was talking about vehicles and playsets. Other than that, this one came out years ago. The Land Speeder, that's probably the smallest of the OT vehicles that you can get. But again, that one's going to set you back $50, $60, I think, purely because it's become a sought after piece these days. And before we get on to the last question, I did just want to show you a couple of my pickups that I've got recently. So the most recent vintage figure that I got through the mail this week from a Facebook collectors group was this Death Star droid. Wanted him in my collection for a very long time. This is one that I never actually owned as a kid, and it was always a figure that I wanted. We couldn't have had all of them as a kid, and I was missing a few, just like everyone, I guess. But this is one that I've always wanted, so I'm really happy with that one. He's in good shape. Often the paintwork's missing on the shoulders and the eyes, but he's in not too bad shape. And this, for anyone that's wondering what it is, this is the Vintage Collection Canadian Yoda. So this is VC20. He usually came on the Revenge of the Sith card, but this is the Canadian variant, which has the original trilogy image. But obviously it's the modern Yoda on a Return of the Jedi card back. This thing it's got to be said, it's pretty rare. And I want to thank a guy called Matt for agreeing to sell me that, and a few other bits that he sold me as well. So thank you for that. Finally got the Canadian Yoda in my collection. Usual Mike Television says, I want to ask you about the Carbonized Vintage Collection, but a few I think have already in the comments. Great video. I couldn't actually find another question that somebody had asked me directly about the Carbonized figure, so I do apologise to that, whoever that was. What do I think of the Carbonized Vintage Collection figures? Now, a few months ago on a live stream, I suggested that these things were going to be a possibility, and when I saw them, it was almost like my worst fears had come to haunt me. I was not a fan. However, I have had time to warm to them slightly. I think it's one of those things that essentially they're going to look okay carded in a carded collection. If you have any sort of desire to display your figures out of the packaging, in dioramas like this, then frankly they're absolutely useless, aren't they? I mean, you do not want a shiny remnant stormtrooper mixed in with your other remnant stormtroopers. It'll just look ridiculous. So these are purely for the carded collector, and it's a way of them giving us more Mandalorian figures whilst they're sculpting new figures for next year, because The Mandalorian is a hit TV show now, and essentially it's not a risk for them anymore and they'll produce loads of stuff. But we're going to have to wait for the good stuff, and until then, repaints and repacks, unfortunately, in that style might be a common thing. But so I didn't like them at first. I thought, why have you done this? But I've warmed to them and I will get them. I'm a vintage collection collector and they will be in my collection just like any other card back that they bring out. Alright then guys, that is it for this week. I do appreciate you watching. Don't forget to enter the giveaway. Don't forget to leave your comments in the comment section below. Your questions for next week, of course. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to drop a like on this video. It really does help. And we shall see you on the next one.